We all know that we need it. We all want to get good quality sleep, but it's challenging. I'm naturally an early riser. I bound out of bed like a lion ready to tackle a gazelle. But by 8 o'clock, I'm taking my first appetizer before my bedtime at 10. I am just wired that way. But lately, sleep has been harder than usual. I am waking up earlier, having more trouble falling back asleep in those wee hours of the morning. If my brain wakes up at like 3:30 in the morning, I know I need to sleep more. I know it. But I also struggle to do that. And then once I do finally go back to sleep, it feels wonky waking up in the morning, or whenever it's like officially time to get up. If it's after 5:30 on the clock and I wake up, I give up. I really do. I just say, I'm going to go ahead and get out of bed and start living life. That means that come 8 o'clock, I am even less capable of staying awake. But that's just, where it is. And sometimes I think that maybe it's just how I'm hardwired. And other times I think maybe this is hormonal. I mean, I am in my 40s now, and typically we see some shifts. I'm not saying that to excuse away like the sleep issues, but I say that because there are 1,000 different factors, and that happens to be one of them. I've dialed in my diet for the past 9+ years. I have eaten in a keto friendly way. The food term in this equation is a constant at this stage of the game. The next term that I've been focusing in on way more is supplemental exercise. I stand a lot. I move around my kitchen a lot. I very rarely sit down for long periods of time. There are seasons, but I rarely sit around doing not much. I'm always like moving around. So, day to day activity, exercise, or movement, that is a constant. The supplemental exercise with the strength training and with trying to be more intentional with reducing my cardiovascular age is kind of where I am still in variable land. I'm still working those things out, trying to be consistent with that. As I continue working on this health equation, I'm turning my attention toward the terms of like sleep and stress and those kinds of things, which have been an area of difficulty for me. And a few weeks ago, I got a fitness ring to help me gather the data so that I can dial in those terms of sleep and stress a little bit better. This is the Ultra Human Ring Air, and I have been trying it out for the past few weeks. I've had an Apple Watch for a number of years at this point, and I really like this. I like how it syncs with my phone. I like how it's just kind of a fully integrated system. But there are a few drawbacks. I cannot wear this overnight without it dying just a couple of hours into the morning. So I'm not really able to track my sleep. I wanted to get a grip on my sleep patterns, and the Ultra Human Ring Air helps to measure things like heart rate variability, your cardiovascular age. It can kind of help you determine that. It can track your movement, and it can also track your temperature, a variety of different things. It's more accurate to take measurements from your finger than it is from your outside of your wrist. So that'll help me dial things in a little bit better. With better data, you can make better decisions. The process for getting my ring was really simple. I received the sizing kit, tried out the different rings on my index and my middle fingers to see which one felt right. Then I wore the ring for a few nights to verify that that was the right size for me. After that, I made my color and size selection and waited for it to arrive on my doorstep. It arrived really quickly, and the packaging was beautiful. I tore into the box, got the ring charging right away, and followed the instructions for downloading the app. And then once the ring was charged, connecting it to my app. I've spent the last couple of weeks just wearing the ring, allowing the ring to measure my information, my data, and gather a baseline starting point. The ring has been extremely comfortable to wear. There's no like pokey parts. It's super smooth. The little sensor on the ring where it measures your information stays on the underside of your finger but there's no like seam here that gets caught in my hair. There's no issues there. I wear this while I'm washing dishes, while I'm taking a shower, when I'm sleeping. The only time I am not wearing the ring is when it is charging or when I'm actively handling extremely messy, gunky foods. So, like if I'm dealing with ground beef or things like that, when I would naturally take off all my jewelry, like my wedding band, I would take this off and I would take my watch off. So I don't get those kinds of things stuck in it. That to me, that's just my standard. But it does not create any issues with washing dishes or any of that mess. The app is loaded with information and it starts giving you feedback straight away. There's a challenge for me because I want to immediately jump in and try to modify that information or win. Like I want to get my numbers to like the green area as fast as possible. Like, oh, let me adjust this. Let me hack that. Let me hack this thing and see if I can make my numbers improve right now. But the Ring Air recommends that you wait about 2 weeks, 15 days, give the ring time to gather that data before you start making adjustments. The app will start recommending things. It will tell you your circadian rhythm, clock stuff and things. When is a good time to get some natural sunlight? When is it a good time to maybe consider closing your caffeine window? A whole variety of different recommendations. But for the past several weeks, I have just allowed the ring to gather the data as I go about my daily life, not changing anything. There are loads of people here on the internet trying to help us all improve our health. I love that. I appreciate that deeply. A lot of these people have a mission to help us become healthier, and that's amazing. But in that mission that a lot of these people have, there is an underlying sense of I have to add more. I need to do more biohacking. I need to add more things to my routines. I need to try this next hack. I need to add this next 15-minute process into my morning routine. And then I need to add this next 12-minute practice into my evening bedtime routine. When we just have so many tasks and responsibilities at home, at work, in our communities, just daily life demands many things be done. So tacking more things on just because an expert said it or a doctor on YouTube said it it can be a little bit challenging to know whether or not that's actually effective for our individual persons. Instead of me just making these changes willy nilly and then choosing to believe they're doing something positive for me without having any real data, I think that using the ring to gather the data and make tiny little incremental adjustments will help me to dial that term in my equation of sleep and stress in a lot more accurately and be just a little bit um, more intentional, I guess. I took some time to write down a few things about my experience thus far, so forgive me for reading some of these things off. First, my heart rate drops later in my sleep. That's a negative thing. And it means that I don't recover as well as I could. So that's something for me to work on. Two, my cardio age is actually younger than my actual age. Love that for me. And I'd like to continue seeing that improve. Number three is it gives me a recommendation on when to close my caffeine window or reduce my caffeine consumption. Um, Here's kind of a benefit. I already am well within that window. I usually stop consuming caffeine late morning, right around lunchtime at the latest, and then I've shifted to decaf coffee when I drink coffee in like the after lunch time frame. So there is still technically a little bit of caffeine in decaf coffee. Not gonna deny that at all, but the consumption of actual like heavy hitter regular coffee is gone by that stage. Number four, it's difficult to know if the steps counter is more accurate than my watch or less accurate. I haven't really figured out how the movement aspect of the ring fits into my everyday life. That I will say. Usually there are discrepancies between the ring and the watch, and it's not necessarily that one is right, one is wrong. It's that I don't really know what to do with that difference. So I'm still kind of figuring that out. Number 5, my heart rate variability or HRV is within the green range, but it's just like barely eking over that line. So I want to continue to improve that as much as possible. The HRV is based on average heart rate at rest. It's affected by your cardio, your overall fitness, and overall well-being, stress, that kind of stuff. Okay, number 6 is about the timeline. If you scroll down in the app, I know you can't see that, there is a place where you can plug in information for your timeline and see what's going on there. It says that like it'll give you information about whether or not things are improving, or there's a new data trend you can check out, or now is a good time to start consuming caffeine if you would like to consume caffeine, or now's the time to quit consuming caffeine. Sometimes it'll give you a little timeline note, hey, now's a good time to get some movement in, that sort of thing. So that's fun. You can manually add things into your timeline, such as a workout, an activity that's not a workout, if you're doing breath work, if you're consuming food, stress, other kind of things like that may not encompass any of those 5 categories. You can choose to add something in. And where I would find that to be good is if you're going to the doctor and you're stressed about it, you can make that note, and then you can sort of be able to see how your body responded. Or if you're driving in the middle of an ice storm, you can see how you are stressed or what kind of stress levels you received by saying, what was happening at that exact time? Why did my stress spike? So that's really kind of interesting. I have not dialed in using that regularly. I don't believe it's going to give you any kind of macro information or calorie information that's going to be actionable. But I haven't truly dug into that aspect just yet. So that was number 6. Number 7, there's the fitness tracking portion of it. You can start a workout, which I actually think is pretty neat because the ring consistently will give you what your heart rate is. And we've all heard, well, not we all, I'm going to assume we've all heard lots about the different zones for cardio. So you've got zone 1 through like, I don't know, is it like zone 5? And they being the experts out there on the internets, talk about how zone 2 cardio is really good for just everyday fitness and well-being and weight loss if you're interested in that. And just, it kind of gives you like a constantly shifting little graph or indicator dial, I guess, showing you where you fall in those different zone ranges based on whatever activity you're doing. I find that to be kind of really cool when you are doing something like weightlifting, strength training. Between sets, you can watch it and see if your heart rate has come back down to a spot where you're ready to move on to your next set. Verify you're giving your body enough rest to recover so you can be more effective on the next set of exercises or what have you. I think that's really cool and something that I'm going to continue to work through using more and regularly. Overall, I feel like this ring is like the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the health information that it can give. This is here to give you the data. Yes, they do offer some different recommendations on things you can adjust in order to improve those numbers. In the beginning, I kind of got a little bit hung up on the data, like the first 2 or 3 days. And then I was like, wait a minute. I'm just here to assess the iceberg. I'm not here to try to navigate the iceberg or get around it. I also know I'm so sorry that I use too many different analogies or metaphors. Sorry. I really wanted badly to win right off the bat. But the ultimate thing is I can't win if I don't know what the parameters are. So I've taken this past several weeks to just allow the ring to do what it's going to do and give me the information that it's giving me. There are ups, there are downs, and I know that there are going to continue to be ups and downs, ebbs and flows, all of that stuff, just based on the fact that I am a female. So I have a specific hormonal cycle. It'll just be really fascinating to see how my data shifts and adjusts like a wave throughout this whole process. And my hope is that I can use this information and use this experience to make tiny little adjustments to create long-lasting impact in my health equation. If you're interested in grabbing your own Ultra Human Ring Air, I'm going to leave a link down below. One of the beautiful things about it, it is a one-time purchase. You're not paying a monthly subscription fee to access all of this information. That kind of makes it superior in my mind compared to all the other things on the market right now. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think. I'll see you in my next video.